Hello, uh, welcome back. If you've been here before, if you're new, thank you for joining. Either way, thank you for being here. Today is July 7th of 2026, and um, I there's a lot to talk about with 7/7. There's the astrology today, which is Neptune stationing retrograde, which was what our reading was about yesterday. And to be honest, I did go ahead and pull some cards from the Black Moon astrology oracle that I've used here before. I really wanted to confirm if we were going to still continue to talk about Neptune and what that would look like, or if we were going to talk about 7/7 today, the 7/7 portal that just has opened up for us. And, you know, I've been picking up on the energy being kind of heavy. And so I want to say before we get started that for someone who's in a heavy energy and approaching, tools such as the tarot and astrology, these can be very insightful tools. And I hope that, if this does find you, and that if this does resonate with you, that you can find, you can take away something that will help you through whatever the heaviness is. And just know you're not alone. These experiences, of course, we're all our own people. We all have our own unique, lives and circumstances. But I've said before, and I feel I want to tell you again that I've been in that same energy, and that's kind of how I stumbled into a lot of this. And I say stumbled, but I mean, I was aware of spirituality, and I was, I had dabbled myself, but I really, when I was in heavy energy and kind of going through the ego death, the dark night of the soul, and those things, myself, I did find insight and help in a lot of ways. But I also want to let you know that if it doesn't resonate and if it doesn't feel helpful and it's not giving you what you need, then that is okay as well. And I do think that's important. And I've also myself had to recognize sometimes things were not really, if I was watching, tarot readings or reading astrology and horoscopes, and sometimes those things were could be creating a confusion. And so the last thing I would want to do would be to add to that. So again, if it's resonating, I'm very happy for that. Take what is helpful, leave the rest. And honestly, I just wish you, the best if you are in that energy and on this journey. And again, I can't express how grateful I am for you, to be here if this is going to be something that can potentially benefit your situation. So I'm actually going to talk about these 3 cards before we get started on the tarot. And again, as I mentioned before, Neptune has recently stationed retrograde, meaning that the planet of the illusion and dreams is going slower, and from our perspective, looks to be even going backwards. And so this is a really great opportunity to revisit the dreams, the spirituality, and I think that's maybe why it's relevant to say what I said before. If you're in the middle of trying to establish a spiritual practice and trying to determine what does resonate with you on a spiritual level, this is a really great time to do that. So, don't feel like, don't feel bad. Don't feel, I'm hearing confusion. Don't let yourself get confused at this time. This is a really good time, because Neptune can sometimes be a little foggy. When it goes retrograde, this is a good time to get clear. So that's what I hope this can be for you. Today we have the cards. Just to start off, like I said, I did feel this heaviness in the energy. The last couple of readings have felt a little heavy, even some of our really, I'm trying to think of like bright. I'm thinking like happy, joyful. Those ones have sort of been a little clouded too. And so, there's definitely, it feels an energy of contradiction. And I'm getting like short bursts of, feeling really connected, feeling like you're sure of your path. And then, maybe having the doubts, maybe having the external influences, the internal, limiting beliefs and things of that nature still cropping up. And again, let me tell you, that is okay. That is normal. That is very normal. We, no one among us is free from that. And, no matter how it looks online, right? Especially if you're here and if you're in other spaces like that, it's what I'm getting is, it's not always what it looks like. And I've spoke about it. Other readers may speak about it too, depending on who you're watching, right? But like if you're being true with yourself, then it's oh man, I'm sorry, I kind of lost the train of thought there, but I was trying to say, like, sometimes it's just not what it looks like. And it's, again, I've dealt with my personal struggles as well. And that's kind of what's led me to where we are today. So we'll go ahead and get started. I know we're a little bit in, and thanks for listening to the rambling. So first card I want to talk to you about is Yod, the Destiny card. Number 48. I'm going to go ahead and actually read you a little bit of Yod. And I wanted to make sure I give you the right information getting started today. Of course, that's always important, but especially with this, I think with this reading. So it says here that Yod is a peculiar astrological configuration in a birth chart. It's a triangle formed by two planets 60 degrees apart, while both are 150 degrees from a third planet, creating a thin pie-shaped aspect. So this triangular configuration, often denoting humility because the energy is locked, causing matters to be fated and often difficult, but not without their rewards. The odd configuration is influential and implies that there is a disruptive force at work. In a sense, this astrological placement of planets is somewhat in exile from the other planetary energies, because they are not harmonious with each other and therefore cause tension. This can bring about feelings of intense stress and restriction. There can also be a sense of being different, feeling alone, and being out of step with others at times. You could be a black sheep. When Yod presents itself, it does mean the situation can be chaotic or may soon turn that way. It can be hard to see a clear path because of the chaos, but it will be important to weather through it all. This is not always bad because it is a process of finding what works and what isn't functioning, and now will be the time to be scaling things down and weeding out what is unnecessary. More than that, this card is about finding your own truth, even though that truth may not be reflected through others. You may wish for more support when this card comes up and will have to manage this on your own. Another development may turn up is that you may prefer to work it out on your own without any interference from others. This card can denote a time to voyage inward and come to your own truth. There really isn't anyone who will have the tools to figure this out more so than you at this time. So now may not be the best time to take advice from others. Your inner knowing has it already. You just have to take the time to process the information to come to your own answers. So, more positively, this card means that circumstances are good for achieving your goal, but be prepared for sacrifices on your part, and not just one, but several. It will not be an easy path, but it is a time to expand your focus. You have a desire for greater awareness, which will come through dedication, but patience and adaptability are necessary in making this situation work to fulfill your greater purpose, the one that you were born for. And, that was the book. That was the book reading. And when I read that, I just thought, wow. That's, of course, what we've been talking about on this channel. The greater themes of your life. I think if you have found your way here, that you must be looking for that. And, confirmation burp. I really feel for you going through this and feeling alone. I hope you have some kind of support around you, but keep in mind that, again, even if you feel you don't, Spirit is your support, and when you are able to rely on Spirit will put the right people in your path, whatever that looks like. So I do want to stress that, and I know I kind of had a feeling we were going to start off a little heavy, so I'm sorry about that. I shouldn't be sorry. This is, if you came here for this, then I hope that you get something out of that. I'm going to move on to Pluto, which is the planet of transformation. And again, because there's so much information here, I really want to talk about it from the book, and so that way I make sure that this message comes through clearly for those of you who are joining today. So Pluto is the smallest and outermost planet in the solar system, probably carrying the most weight. It is the planet of extremes, ruling birth, sex, and death. In Greek legend, Pluto was the god of the underworld. His earlier name, Hades, came to designate the dwelling place for the dead. The name Hades means the unseen, and is a good description of the energies of Pluto, which tend to transform areas of the astrological chart without us knowing until the explosion or blowout. Pluto's transits are extremely powerful and bring on significant life changes. In traditional astrology, Pluto is the higher octave of Mars, but has some similarities to Saturn, which is also a force of oppression. Pluto governs renewal and rebirth. It brings to the surface things that have been hidden or are felt deep inside. These are sometimes painful to confront, or they are embarrassing or taboo. The dwarf planet tends to inspire unwelcome surprises. Pluto can be like a tower collapsing in your life, a life from which you must rebuild from debris and also inspiration. Many things you have relied upon for always being there may suddenly disappear or leave. More than anything else, Pluto represents endings and beginnings. It is not a card of physical death per se, since in our lifetimes we experience many deaths and new starts. This is simply a time when the decks are being wiped clean for new action. Most of the time you begin to feel ill at ease with the feeling of something not right, and things go down strangely with an eerie silence, like in Titanic. Or like the Titanic. You know, the movie, I guess. I know it's the ship, but when the way I said that came out like in Titanic, like the movie. Anyways, if you are in a relationship that has been difficult, it will either end or it will deepen and become more fulfilling. Any romance starting at this time should prove to be intense. It is important not to try and control things. Instead, surrender to the ups and downs for a while, although some of these changes may be painful ones. That said, this is a time of intense sexuality. It may come in various forms. In terms of job or career, it may be time to get another. When the Pluto card presents itself in a reading, you may have been recently infatuated with a hidden subject, certain mysteries, or the taboo. This could be a time when you are able to sense and feel spirits around you. Sometimes this card can indicate psychic attacks, and thus you should be very careful who you open up to. Be cautious if you are involved in anything paranormal or occult in nature. You are not particularly vulnerable. In fact, your strength is growing. But it is important at this time, at this point in time, to spiritually protect yourself from anything negative, such as vampire types of people or lost spirits looking for home. So, again, we've talked a lot about this on this channel. Going inward and transformations, ego deaths, right? This is the continuing theme here, which I think is very important to you. I think if this wasn't important to you, I think that I wouldn't be reading about it. So it's again, if you're in a heavy energy and you need a break, that's fine. But if you're ready to go deeper, you know, you can embrace these changes. And surrender and control is a really big, that was the standout line to me, is embracing this journey for all that it is. And remember, when we're at the end of something, we're also at the beginning of something new as well. And that's a really difficult concept for me personally. I've had to really kind of reckon with that. So again, if that sounds scary, again, I want to let you know it is. I understand that, and it is understandable where you're coming from. But to embark on such, you know, a lot of the times we do have to leave old ways behind, old patterns, old beliefs. You know, whether that's because of, you know, maybe it's a religion that we've grown up with, maybe it's a familial, you know, tradition, or I'm thinking of like a lineage, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, like a trauma, something that's been passed down, right? Like something could be in the mother line or the father line, right? That you might be being called to heal. And to go on this journey, to go on this transformation, if I sat here and told you it was all roses, I'd be lying to you. But in the end, it is worth it. And to come out on the other side, you'll be in a new energy. And sometimes that can be scary. Sometimes putting down the trauma, the wounds, right? Like we're kind of questioning, who are we without these things? We build our lives around them, right? You know, that's our identity that we're shedding. But it's actually just ego. And that's what we talked about before, was the ego death and letting go of those patterns and survival systems that just no longer serve us. So, I know we haven't pulled any tarot, and so the last card I want to talk about is the South Node, number 42. Again, I am going to read directly from the book here. The South Node represents a karmic point in our charts where certain matters must be discharged or cast off in order to develop and move on toward greater things. The Southern Lunar Node is also called the Dragon's Tail, and this is where most past karma lies in the astrological chart. The South Node is the place where we are challenged and growth occurs through some kind of pain. At the same time, the South Node is realistic and is the area of the horoscope that shows how we can know and understand who we truly are. When the North Node opens doorways, the South Node represents karmic debts which can make life circumstances hard. But neither the North Node nor the South Node are all good luck or bad luck. In fact, when it comes to the nodes, what will be given is what has been earned. There is no other way of getting there without the toil and effort. The South Node is also a key to what has been left unfinished or unresolved in your life. What lies therein is what we bring from not only our childhood but our past lives. When the South Node card turns up in a reading, it is a turning point. It is a time of endings and beginnings. Understand that there is something about to close that has been held in place for a long time. Familiar ways will end, ushering you forward in new ways and through different developments. You are ready to step out of the rut and align yourself with higher vision. And I just got really excited reading that. So I really hope you're feeling that excitement. You may be evaluating certain aspects of your life to realize there is no longer any connection there and that it is time to move on. Be assured you will have a stronger foundation for your next venture. Doors slam, but in recognizing what needs to end, it helps you to move on toward further maturity. At major turning points, this is a period to maximize the advantages of these changes, difficult though they may seem now. You will want to leave your comfort zone and make as many new contacts as you can. Even though the South Node is not as congenial as the North Node, they are still in balance, having things in common. So when you face resistance at a particular time, that is your South Node telling you, over here, there is a better way. Blocks and obstacles, especially in this case, are letting you know you are not on your right or golden path. The South Node is all about being prepared for what comes next, and that means being experienced. There's no winging it at this time, or your plans may truly sink. Sometimes when the South Node is activated, it will take several tries to get what you're after. You could receive an unexpected rejection, one you weren't looking for. You could even be asked to do extra tasks while working longer hours. The good news is, even though things are a bit tough at the current moment, it is still an advantageous time. You're about to hook up with people in your soul tribe. You are setting down a foundation of your future marvelous life. So, again, and we're gonna read some tarot here, but again, your cards, if you've been following along, and if it's your first time, happy to have you. But if you've been following along, your cards are telling the same story. It's time to make this conscious choice. And when you're conscious, when you're operating from a place of higher self, your path is going to open up for you. And those things that you're seeking, whether it be friendships, whatever other, soul tribe relationships, those people will come into your lives. That job will come into your life. It might not even be a job. Maybe you don't ever want to work, and I sure don't. So if that's what you're on, if that's aligned and you're operating from a place of alignment, it will happen. And it's in its due time, right? And there's been a little bit of an anxious energy when talking about time, and I don't really read for time, and I've caught myself, you know, in the past questioning those things as well and wanting to kind of read for that, and that's not really what I do. So the thing is, we have to trust in divine timing and know that when we're on this path, there is no, oh, it's going too slow, or oh, things are going too fast. Excuse me, again. the energy is surrender, right? Pluto talked to us about that. So we have to embody that surrender, and that's not an overnight change that happens. That's not an overnight transformation that happens within us. That's an everyday choice. And it's in one of the universe cards that I was reading yesterday. The universe has your back cards. I don't think we pulled it, but when I was reading through them, there is a card that says, oh my gosh, what was I just saying? Oh my gosh, I lost it. I was talking about timing, surrender. And so surrender, in that deck, there's a card that says, every time I surrender, or every time I think I've surrendered, I surrender more. I surrender again, and I surrender more. Something like that. And I really like that one, because it is... it's a constant more and more and more. And once you do a little surrender, you know, you're going to go, okay, now I need to surrender more. And you're just going to keep doing that. And eventually you're going to really love the process of surrendering. Maybe you're not ready to surrender your control yet. Maybe that's why this is coming up. Maybe you're still trying to hold on to some form of control, whether it be in relationships or career or home life or the timing. Like those, first of all, if it's regarding people and relationships, that's one of the, you'll never control that, and you'll never control time, and you can't control the flow of the universe either. All you can do is you can work with it, but mainly all you can do is really surrender to it. And that's something that's very crucial in this journey that we're on. So I'm going to go ahead and start some tarot reading at this point. And I was really called to grab the Murder of Crows tarot by Roy Corrado. This is a shadow deck, and when I was reading these cards, this was not my original intention, but when I was reading the Black Moon astrology cards, I just knew I had to get the Murder of Crows tarot for this reading. When I got the box out, immediately right off the top, I had the Nine of Cups, which we did have yesterday, in yesterday's reading as well. And I'm actually gonna read this one to you. So Nine of Cups says, your guides and angels urge you to travel farther and plumb new depths. But the journey has also taught you much about striving for something and learning to experience joy in what you find. You now know how to fulfill your passions and say to the dark voice of skepticism and hesitation, be gone. I have found hearth and home, and you aren't wanted here anymore. And saying that phrase to your inner skeptic, right? You have to trust this process if you're going to go on this journey. And that card was just on the bottom for us. So We'll see what else comes out here. A little bit stiff. I'm not gonna lie. This is kind of a special deck to me. Special occasions is how I read this deck, and I think today was definitely going to call for it because of this is collective energy here. Judgment. Not going to get ahead of myself. We don't have judgment. Okay. And Seven of Swords, which is the ego. We were just talking about that again yesterday. That came up, Seven of Swords. The ego. We have, this might be a, I don't know what kind of animal this is. This might be a raccoon. It might just be a very large rat. I'm not sure. Seven of Swords, clever wings swoop. The nimble beak strikes true. Your wings carry you as you raise your prize aloft. This is the victory your talents and skills afford you, striking in shadows, moving unseen, playing by only your rules, or by no rules at all. There are those who shake their heads at your larcenous ways, but their approval doesn't feed you or your hatchlings. Funny, because this crow is taking the dead animal, the carcass here. So I spent a lot of time talking about this card earlier in the previous reading, but again, because it's coming up again, and this is a different deck, you know, the ego is how we survive. Remember that. Don't beat yourself up for having one or from operating from it. We all, that's an energy that we all have to, I say have to, that's our human experience. We all have a human experience. If you're on this planet here, and I'm assuming you're human, you've had this experience, right? So don't be ashamed of where you've been, but at this point, it is time to recognize it, right? Okay. Okay. Four of Swords and Three of Wands. Beautiful. I'm really excited to use this deck. This is a great reason to use it. So we do have the Four of Swords. I've always said this as Respite, but I think it actually is pronounced as Respite. Rest. True spiritual rest. Okay. Yes, there's an energy of going inward here, but more importantly, this is turning off the mind and really getting clear, taking a break from overthinking here. This is, in my opinion, this is one of the more gentle cards in the swords. This is, again, you're not on anyone's time. So if you're not sure, it's okay to take a pause. You don't have to overthink. When you are in this energy, you're protected. This is protective rest. You're being watched over divinely. And in the RWS tarot, the word here is peace that's on the window. And so peace is what you get when you go into this energy, especially when you come out of this energy. If you go into this energy, you might not be feeling very peaceful. But when you come out of this energy, you walk away with a sense of peace. And then when you come out, you can get ready to commence. You can get ready for your commencement. You'll have more clarity from that moment of rest. Turn off the mental chatter, right? Meditate. And then you can see the horizon clearly. You can see the horizon here. I'm going to keep going because we're already, not that time matters. Maybe you feel like, yeah, because I just almost said, oh, we're already 30 minutes and we haven't barely just started bowling any tarot. Don't worry about that. I'm not going to worry about that. What else? Okay. I've got, excuse me. Wow. Okay. Well, well, first of all, sorry. 7 of Cups, trying to make a decision. The fantasy, maybe even some, hold on. I'm hearing like you have these desired outcomes. You have all these routes you could take, but not sure which one is the right one. I'm hearing an overthinking, but you're very emotionally attached to an outcome with this energy. So if you're able to get clear, you can discern what is the thing that's going to fulfill you emotionally, right? This, you can be being presented from, you might be, let me back up. I think I'm saying this wrong. Your guides might be presenting you with all the infinite possibilities, and it might feel a little overwhelming. And that could be one reason why you need to take that step back and take some time for rest. So that way you can see this clearly, and the infinite possibilities from the 7 of Cups energy that you could be presented with. You can have it all. We were talking about the moon and the cage, and coming out of your cage and wanting it all. The song is what I was talking about that day, and so maybe you do want it all. Maybe you really want it all. Spirit says that is possible. This man looks to be covered with the shadows of the ravens, the crows, I mean. Just had like a tingling on the left side of my head, like over my ear and like on the side of my head, which is your receiving energy. So at this point, again, if there's a skeptic in you telling you that's not possible, you need to get ready to receive. Get clear on what you want, because if you do, and if it's divinely aligned, it's more than possible, my friends. We did also have both. These two flipped. Didn't really pop out, but did flip out of the deck. So I do want to talk about these. So we do have both the Queen and the King of Wands. And this is... we had a Queen of Wands yesterday. So the energy of conviction and the energy of... Hold on, let me get this right. There's smoke. Seeing smoke, fire and air. Smoke in the air, which can be cleansing. I talked a little bit about smoke yesterday and feeling maybe suffocated. Having of conviction, passionate and it's probably weighing on your emotions, this conviction. If you can embody the King of Swords, oh my gosh, Wands, I forgot. This is very driven energy right here, the King and the Queen working together. To embolden your convictions, you might have to cleanse the smoke. I was feeling like the other day I wanted to talk about cleansing and cleansing with the elements, working with the elements. You can cleanse, by the way, I don't know if this is what I was supposed to talk about with these, but it kind of was something I wanted to talk about just the other day. Water, fire, and air, and of course the earth energy is grounding as well, right? But you can cleanse with those. The smoke can be cleansing. Water is cleansing. And air, your own breath, can be cleansing. So that might be something important for you to know. If you don't have a cleansing practice, and if you're not, doing, taking time for rest, cleansing and rest would be, I think, important here. I'm gonna leave them out. I'm actually gonna reference the book just really quickly on King and Queen of Wands. Queen of Wands is a savage and unbound beauty in love with all that is lush and alive. She demonstrates the wonder to be found in experiencing the world with all her senses and never apologizes for her intensity. Her charisma is intoxicating and her speech is direct and uncompromising. Hear the crunch and crack as she uses her staff to tear away the brambles that attempt to block her path. If she let such petty inconveniences slow her down, she would never have become the queen of the realm. The wise learn to follow her lead, bowing to her incredible will. So you could feel like you're on kind of a war path. You could be trampling. It is possible that you feel like because of the transformation, because of the shedding, that maybe you feel like you're this like unstoppable force and you're ready for that ruler mentality. And by the way, I haven't said it on this reading, but of course you can be any gender and have the queen or the king show up for you. So that's not gender specific. If you don't already know that, these cards are not gendered. Energy is not gendered. So the energy that we're reading has nothing to do, even if you hear the word he or she, that has nothing to do with, you and your physical body. We have masculine and feminine energies in us. All of us have those energies. So, and in fact, these two cards together is indicating some balance happening here. So the King of Wands says, a heart laugh resounds from beneath his helm. Political acumen and statecraft will take a person far. The greatest leaders know how to motivate others to carry out their will. Their words warm the heart and inflame the spirit, inspiring their subjects onward to victory. Some call his success luck. What they fail to understand is that luck opened the door, but it was courage that brought him through it. Wow, that's amazing. So, if you're going through some hard times because of this shift that you're in, embodying those two energies will be very significant for you right now. To be able to experience wonder over the world. I want to kind of pull that from what it says here in the book for the queen. You don't have to apologize for your intensity. That's true. And if that's making people shy away from you because of your conviction, I'm sorry, but either they'll get on board or maybe it's just not really aligned for you at this time. And I kind of had to experience that too friends and family. And, you know, some people fell away and for a time, and some people have come back, and some people have never come back. And you kind of have to make peace with that. And then the king, it does talk about having political acumen. So again, all the kings are very broad picture. You know, I always say big picture energy here, seeing the forest through the trees, right? And maybe you're ready to be a leader here. Maybe that's what you see for yourself. And heck yeah. So inspiring is what can come from this. When you've been through hard times, you can really share your experience with others, and you can be an inspiration. And if is that what you're looking for here? Are you looking to lead? Is that part of what you see when you see all your 7 cups full to the brim with the possibilities? Is that part of your journey? Or maybe it's part of your journey, and maybe it's a step on your journey. Maybe you have something else as well adjacent to it, or this could be on the way, or something else could be on the way, right? Like, you don't have to limit yourself. Again, you can have it all if you're aligned. I hope you do. I hope you do have it all. All right, what else? Okay. This one I don't think I can show. It doesn't, it's a little bit nude, but, we have the world. This is the world, right? 21? Yeah, that's the world. And we have the magician. Oh my gosh, I love the magician. I love the magician so much. This is making me happy. Oh, I love this deck. Yes, okay. Excuse me while I fangirl over the magician, who I love. So I'm not going to show you the world. There is some nudity here, as is tradition. If you like South Park, that might be, I don't know why, as is tradition in Canada. Yeah, the world this is your endings and beginnings, okay? And this is a really cool card. I do actually wish I could show it. She does have the head of a crow. Very cool. She's holding the 2 wands, and she does have the laurel surrounding her. And she's embedded in what looks to me to be some kind of like stone. Her legs are actually in the stone, kind of like sword in the stone is what I just got out of this. But she, above the knees, she's out of the stone, holding the batons, holding the 2 wands. And, you know, this is true authenticity, on top of the fact that, yes, it is an end of a cycle. And maybe it's the end of your suffering, your pain. I know we're human and it doesn't go away. Not exactly. But maybe you're ready to leave. I hope you're ready to leave that energy. And if you're here and you're looking for more outside of that, I promise you there's more. As someone who really was stuck, I don't like that word. My friend says she never says that word. You know, as somebody who was maybe being held back, right? Put on pause. Hermit energy. It can be really hard to see, again, back to the King of Wands, the forest through the trees, right? See the big picture. And especially if you've been facing loss, if you've been facing grief. But the world indicates a time that this is coming to an end. And I think you're ready for it. I'm really excited for you to experience that. And confirming, which we haven't even started to confirm, but alongside of that, Magician. The beautiful Magician. It is a pleasure to have you here, my friend, the Magician, and you magicians who are here. The Magician is about manifestation. It's about alchemizing your, oh my God, alchemizing your pain. Whoa. Yeah. You can do it. You can transform it. You can use it as fuel. I think the moment that that kind of hit me was where a lot of things started to shift. When I started to think about it as alchemizing my pain and reusing it as fuel, energetic fuel. And of course we have all 4 suits in the picture, the cup, sword, pentacle, and wand, all on the table here, using all 4 elements. Remember, we talked about cleansing. You can cleanse with all 4 elements. You can utilize these elements for your manifestations. It's also a really good description I heard of this card, and this really has only added to my love for this card, is about focusing on more than just one thing, right? All 4 elements at play, focusing and spreading your energy out, not to be, not to the point of like where, oh, Bilbo from Lord of the Rings is like, I'm spread too thin. Like, you don't want to be spread thin, but when you use your energy wisely, when you, oh, my wrist just kind of like snatched there for a minute, so be careful with your wrist. When you go inward, you take your moment to rest, you get clear on what you want, you can use your energy wisely. Use the energy wisely here. And this is literally a 1. The 21 and a 1. That's awesome. And I can show you the top of the card, but you can just imagine, I guess, the rest. But that's the world that we had there. Okay. I think I'm gonna start to clarify. So we're gonna clarify 4 of Swords, 3 of Wands. Oh wow. Okay. These 2, oh sorry, 3. Oh my gosh, what do we have here? Okay. Alrighty. Yep. You, my friends, you need this time to rest. You need to rest. There's no denying it. I'm sorry, there's no denying it. If you have been putting your rest on pause for whatever reason, you might have been overthinking. You need to rest. So we have 2 of Swords. More, yes, indecision. Indecision is coming out. You need to go inward. She's wearing a blindfold because she can't logic her way out of this situation. It's time. It's time to go inward. 5 of Pentacles. This is really interesting. This reminds me of like the crucifix story or something like that. This image is definitely visceral. This is a visceral image right here, which these are meant to be. These are obviously shadow decks, so that's what this is meant to evoke, right? But you have your hands tied. You feel you have your hands tied. You don't. I don't even know if this guy, it does maybe look like there might be some rope, but you know, there's a person. It looks like this is a figure. Maybe is there someone that can help? Right? Spirit, call on spirit to help you. I had a moment like that where I had a super swollen lymph node And I knew energetically why it was swollen. And it was kind of due to this. It was like a lack mentality, you know, negative thoughts. And I tell you from the bottom of my heart, nothing was working. And I would clear it up only for it to get clogged again, constantly, over and over. This was happening to me. And I was taking medicine and it wasn't working. And one day, I swear to you, like, this is true story, I called on spirit and, you know, asked and prayed and, you know, kind of yelled, basically, like, I need help. I need help with this. I knew it was energy because I could tell it was. It wasn't just a regular, you know, of course, all physical sickness is related to our energy, right? But this was very clear to me what this was. And I asked for help, and I'm not kidding you, within seconds. Literal seconds. Is spirit down here? I'm sorry you couldn't see this, I was tapping. Spirit down here, it's hard to see. But she or he, whoever your spirit is, they're here. They're supporting you. That's what all this energy is showing, support. This is clarifying your need for rest in order to commence this journey. I'm not saying you haven't started a journey. I feel like if you're here, you've started a journey. But if you really want to embark on this and you really want to reap these rewards, you want to be a manifester, you have to call in the right things. You have to be in the right mindset. This is time to let these things go. Go inward. Call on spirit. And then we have 2 of Pentacles as well. Another 2. These were your clarifiers for that. 2 of Pentacles is juggling and priorities. Where are your priorities? Is it making money? Is it, you know, could it be distractions? Could it be energy being, maybe you're not protecting your energy? You know, the Pluto card talked about protecting your energy against vampires. Maybe you have too much energy. You can call your energy back. That's another way that is a spiritual practice, calling your energy back. Egg cleanse. I'm hearing egg cleanse. Have you ever done an egg cleanse? If I'm not saying that clearly, you take an egg and cleanse your body. You can look it up. It's a very simple, easy to perform, I should say. I guess in spirituality is like, is it really simple? But it is something you can do. Maybe you should try it. Maybe that sounds like something, maybe you've heard of it before, maybe you haven't. Call your energy back to yourself, wherever you've spread it. Right? Okay, we're going to clarify those court cards, and we're going to clarify the 7 of Cups. 7 of Court, 7 of Cups, Queen of Wands, King of Wands. Anything? Okay, we got one clarifier. And for your clarifier, oh, cool. Yeah, you want some things. You guys want some things. Hey, I'm with you. That's what we came here to do, right? We came here to have a human experience, right? You came here with a purpose, your soul's purpose, right? That's what we talk about here, apparently. We talk about soul's purpose here on this channel. 7 of Pentacles. You have been planting some seeds, and good on you. You are waiting for some sprouts here, right? But you have been planting the seeds. And you need to now trust that these seeds will sprout and you'll have to see how they come out. You'll have to see the condition of the plants. Excuse me, confirmation. You have to wait and see. Don't rush. There's no need to rush. There's no need to rush. Whatever seeds you've planted, the things you want, your desires, this energy, this balanced energy that you need to embody for your convictions, your dreams. Another 7. Wow. And it's 7-7 today. The 7-7 portal. And by the way, I didn't really talk about it yet, but 7-7 is a day for introspection. Okay? It's, this is, the 7 is the chariot energy. The chariot can't go until you know where you want to go. You have some indecision coming through here, but taking your time to rest and getting clear, you can get on this path. And it seems to me that you've already planted seeds on your path. So you are in a little bit of a waiting energy here, but that's okay. Be okay with that. You can embody that. And remember, when you're taking that time to rest, what you're really doing is you're recharging, you're cleansing, you're grounding, calling your energy back, right? Centering. All of those practices are so essential. And even if maybe you're saying, I can't do this on a daily basis or whatever because of your priorities, whatever they are, maybe you're a busy person, maybe you have family obligations, maybe your work situation, maybe you work 40 plus hours a week, who knows? I don't know your life, but your time, when you take that time, even if it's 10 minutes a day, right? Or, 3 days a week, not saying you need a full day off from your responsibilities, but when you implement these small practices and plant these seeds, you're telling me you're telling me that you're doing this. You're telling me you're planting seeds. You're telling me you're waiting. That waiting time is essential. That's okay. Remember, focus, get clear, and use the tools here to manifest. And let's clarify this one now, because I think I've spoke about this one. And actually, I also wanted to tell you really quickly, plants. So talking about seeds made me think about plants. And yesterday, we were taking care of the garden. In the garden, we had used diatomaceous earth. And if you're not familiar with that, it's like broken up seashells that is like an insect kind of deterrent, right, on plants so they don't eat your plants. And then we realized that our plants weren't growing super well. And so it was time to kind of spray that off. And because the plants, the leaves, they need the sunlight also. And so that, even though that was a protective barrier, it was blocking the sunlight, right? So I just felt like talking about that, and I was thinking about this earlier today, like, I wonder if that's relevant to bring up. And so talking about the seeds being planted and the sprouts happening, remember that, you have to protect that energy. Yes, you have to protect your energy, but you also need to be open to the sun, open to Spirit's blessings. So protect your energy, build your spiritual armor, right? Like, you can have both and be open to what the sun can illuminate for you, right? And I don't know why, but that just felt like telling you guys that. So clarify the world, magician. Oh, wow. Nice. I don't know which one came out first. I have no idea. Oh, we have 4 cards here. I have no idea what came out when. Okay. Sheesh. Okay. So we have the High Priestess. Beautiful. I love these cards so much. They are really cool. When I first got this deck, I was really scared. I was really scared to use these. Oh, hopefully you can't see the little the breasts of the world. Hopefully you can't see that. Hopefully don't tell YouTube. Okay, if you did see it, just don't tell them. Anyways, I was really nervous about this, right? The shadow deck. Should I work with this? Is this gonna be scary for me? Right? But I love this deck. I'm really happy that I had a really good reason to use this. So thank you for giving me that. High Priestess. Empress. Okay. Knight of Swords in reverse. Taking your time. Going, maybe trying to go slower. You've been having that card a lot lately. And Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. Wow, how beautiful. So, High Priestess, going inward, intuition, right? This is confirming the Magician. This is confirming the world. Last reading, we were hearing logic. Logic is kind of prevailing. You know, this reading started off with, truth be told, you don't have a lot of sword energy this go around. You really don't have a lot of sword energy here this go around. So, maybe you are, maybe you're working on that. Maybe you're working on your overthinking, your logical brain, right? The left side brain earlier was giving the, like, I could feel a little bit of a, oh my gosh, tingling on the left side brain. So you could be, really doing just this, trying to get clear and going inward. This is what we have been talking about. So again, good job and keep doing it. And just remember, that's your way out. That's your way to, get to where you want to go. This is your new beginning here. Venus energy, we have the Empress. This is growth. This is, conception, birth, right? This is creation, the Mother Earth energy here. This is beauty and love. And this is the embodiment that you can really, really achieve. Sorry, the camera got a little messed up here. If you don't care, I appreciate that. I heard somebody say, I don't care. It doesn't matter. Like, yeah, who cares what you're seeing in the background, I guess. But anyways, yeah, beauty. You've got something really, truly beautiful here. And then we do have the Knight of Swords in reverse. So you might be a fast mover. Normally, you might want to move quickly and get things done and cross those boxes, check those boxes, cross the T's and make the list and dot the I's on the list and all that. This is so funny the way this is depicted. This is kind of a stationary Knight of Swords. I have not really seen one that looked like so calm and cool and collected. This is definitely, usually they're like literally rushing in on a horse and all that. The wind whipping all behind them, but illuminated by the moon. So because of what you're going through, working on a balance of the logic here, and then balancing it with emotional intelligence and intuition, you're coming through stable. So whatever you're doing, keep doing that. Don't burn out. I just heard don't burn out, right? But don't feel rushed. Don't feel rushed. Embody this moment, right? Live in the moment. And work on your practice. Work on your practice. Here, get clear on what that is, what that looks like to you. There's no wrong way to do practice or spirituality, you know, just get clear on it. And you kind of figure out what works and what doesn't, right? We talked about that in this, I forget which one it was, one of these two. One of those three. Was talking about, you know, getting clear on what doesn't work and what is working. And it's okay to pivot. That's fine. Queen of Pentacles here. This is this is your abundance. This is grounded energy here. I'm going to read this one for you. I'm feeling like I want to read that one to you. I don't know why. I've been reading to you all day. Usually I don't really read a lot of the books. So today I felt like reading. Maybe you should read. Maybe that's how you take your time to rest, and you don't have to read, you know, big intellectual spiritual books, but if you want to and you feel called to that, amazing. But maybe you want to read something for fun. Maybe you should read. Or maybe you should let someone read to you. Maybe you should try Audible. Or I'm not sponsored by Audible. I mean, like, not that I'm saying I wouldn't be sponsored by them, but I'm just saying I'm not. But yeah, you know, an audio book or whatever. You don't have to use Audible. There's other ways to have books read to you. What are we looking for? Queen of Pentacles. Queen of Pentacles. Where are you? Here you are. Okay. The soft swish of silk and velvet whispers as she steps regally into the room. There are many pleasures and comforts to be found in this world, and this noble creature understands the value of peace and luxury. Remember? Peace. Peace. Right here. Right? She understands and instructs on the correct forms of poise and nobility. To live well, satisfied, and sharing with those around you is to dwell in your own masterpiece. None are turned away from her doorstep, for her worthy heart is open to all who seek her care. The lowliest beggar will find something waiting for them at her table. So she's generous, and you may be generous. I don't know why, I was just kind of thinking don't be over generous, right? Because you did have the juggling the priorities and your energy here, and this card too, the Pluto card, was warning about, you know, energy vampires. So I'm not sure if I would really recommend that, but maybe that is your vocation. Maybe that's who you are as a person. But remember, don't overgive. You know, that's the imbalance of this card, but this card is coming out balanced. And so to clarify, I keep forgetting not to uncover that. To clarify the world and to clarify the Magician, this is an energy of giving. And remember what we were talking about yesterday, if you were here for that, what you give is what you get, and what you vice versa, right? Like, put the energy out into the world that you want. And it doesn't have to be money. Okay, it doesn't have to be opening up your home to strangers. Again, I'm not discounting that if that's what you do or whatever. As long as you're safe. I don't know your life, so please don't misinterpret it. But it could be as simple as giving a smile. Right? When you see a stranger, give them a smile. Give them a compliment, maybe, right? It doesn't have to be monetary. It can be, an energy that you want to embody, embodying that energy and manifesting it for yourself. That's how manifestations work. My voice is a little sore from the reading, not even from the talking, from the reading. Why does that put a strain? So, hope is the conduit for miracles. I want to get a little bit of a brightness in this reading. I know these cards are a little dark, but it was a really good reading. So I hope that you got something from this if you're still here watching. Hope is the conduit for miracles. Hope. Don't lose hope. Miracles can happen. Trust it. Trust it. The conduit, right? Oh yeah, this guy. Don't look at the other card. I'm sorry, I just keep trying to pick that one up. When I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. Peace. When I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. How powerful is that? Amazing. Any other what can we share here? I'd like to share one more. One more, please. Oh, that's the one we just read. I don't know if you're getting any more. That was peace again. Your peace cannot be disrupted. Oh. Yeah. And this one. In any moment I can surrender. We talked about surrender earlier. In any moment I can surrender to the powerful presence of love through prayer, contemplation, and stillness. I'm telling you. I create mindful moments throughout the day, reminding myself that I am love and miracles are natural. Mindful moments. That's your opportunity to be grateful. And remind yourself you are love and that miracles are natural. Natural. Just naturally occurring, like grass growing. How cool is that? My happiness is a direct reflection of my faith, my level of faith in the universe. My happiness is a direct reflection of my level of faith in the universe. When you show that faith, you get your happiness. I'm serious. And I surrender. This is the last one. I surrender to the power greater than me. It's okay to surrender. It's one of those concepts that can feel a little scary, but I promise you, when you take that weight off yourself too, that's what it's really about, right? Letting go of the weight. And by the way, transformation on this one, right? Butterfly. We do have the butterfly here. It's beautiful. Thank you so much for being here, as always. I really hope that you not just got something out of this, right? Because obviously that's why I'm here. But what I hope is that you take this time and you are able to get clear. And I hope that when I see you again, that you'll be feeling well. And I hope you're feeling well right now. Remember, this is a journey, but it's worth it. It's a journey that's really, really worth it. It has its ups and downs. No one's perfect. So give yourself that grace. And I just want you to know that I'm here supporting that, supporting your your little magician energy. It's really exciting to see this for you. So don't get too down, okay? I'll see you next time, and we'll talk soon.